is a great idea. I'm going to write that down. Does that look like I'm writing it down?
This is weird. Maybe we should just have a real meeting.
Congrats on this show. I'm so excited for it. Oscar, I want to start with you because you kind of have a returning home versus find family kind of balance here. How did it feel to return, and in what ways did it feel like a completely new thing?
It felt great to return. It's a whole new thing because the stories. It's a whole new show. It's a new show, and I didn't know what to expect. But it's great. We're so happy. We watched all the episodes. I'm very, very pleased to report.
You'll never guess who dies in episode 4.
Yeah, my family loved it.
Like really, really dark turn.
He's killed by a falling printing press.
It happens. It does.
Well, one of the, I guess, like office fun facts or anecdotes is that Oscar was one of the people who would rarely break character. And I'm curious if you two had that experience with him, or were you okay? You outdid it. Okay.
Oscar made me break in the pilot. I think you can see it in the trailer. The last shot of the trailer in the wide, he says, "Fuck," and I'm like,
"Oh,"
because it wasn't.
Forgot about that.
That was one of our first days shooting, and it was so fun because Oscar really remember that.
Yeah,
he really went on a run, and yeah, I broke a good amount, but it was also like.
It was good.
It was really fun because
I didn't know the cameras were rolling. It was just something that kind of happened. And thank God they
out people on set, you know.
You get to be really, the funny thing about breaking is sometimes I would be like, all right, don't break the scene, and then I'm a little less present. So it's a bit of a, but it's a really fun. It's a really fun shooting style. Let's be naturalistic, and it's a really fun group to be a part of.
I agree, Alex.
One of my favorite, it has to be really fun the first time you break the fourth wall and look at the camera crew, but I always find it interesting that kind of every character has a different relationship with the camera crew and how much they would make eye contact. So I'm curious what that experience was like for you guys and kind of just finding that stride.
I found it really difficult to sort of have this thing. I've never done sort of mockumentary style work before. So I've always been like, the camera's not there, and just sort of be present with this person, be aware, but not. And so to just so I struggled the first few times to just sort of look into the eye of the black abyss of the camera. I think it got easier once I did my first talking head and I got to sort of talk to the camera and go, oh, I have permission to sort of include this camera as another character in the show. And once I realized that's what this is, it became easier, and that's when I started to build up a relationship with it.
I think if you look, actually, not to speak from a writer's perspective as well, but everyone narratively has a different relationship with the camera. Some people give it a sort of Jim Halpert, like, can you believe this shit? Mm-hmm. And some people are like embarrassed that the camera's witnessing in this moment, or some people, my character will spike the camera when he's embarrassed for somebody else. Sometimes I'll be like, but like, it's a really different aspect for comedy. And Greg and Michael and our directors are always really careful about the reality of whether or not a camera would be there. Like sometimes you see a character in a mockumentary style comedy say something with the camera right here that they would never disclose to another person. And so the logic of that is crazy. And Greg and Michael are always really serious about that. And I think that keeps its power very very real.
And Alex knows of what he speaks because he doesn't talk about this a lot, but he started in light romantic pornography. And there's a very fine line where you look and glance, but he could talk more about that than I can. But he that's where he honed his skills.
Where you honed your craft.
Can you believe this shit? No, sorry. Can you believe it? Oh my God. Amazing.
Before I go, one of my favorite aspects is always like the improvised lines that kind of make their way in. And there's some really infamous Parks and Rec and Office ones. I'm curious, even if you can't say exactly what it is, do you have a favorite one this season, if you could allude to what it is?
We were talking about Harper.
We were just talking about
Tim Key.
Tim Key had one. One of mine that was my favorite is at some point a character says about the pointlessness of seeking revenge. And remember this? There's a scene where There's a scene where characters.
Tell me so I can remember.
It's the scene where your characters worked up about something online. Remember that?
Yeah. Yes, I do. Okay.
And someone's and Eric
Yes.
and Travis is like, "Don't seek revenge," and I'm like, "If you do feel like seeking revenge, the extension 5, or like I
Improvise that?
Yeah. But it was really, yeah, baby.
I know what you're talking about.
But it was, but yeah, sometimes, but my favorite thing in the improv lines is like, it's little dips and dabs. Like a lot of Gbemi's physicality, like when I was writing and Gbemi's in the scene, you give her just a couple lines, but you know that her physicality, really subtle, really funny, would carry it through. Same with Ramona and Melvin. So like, it's the little things for me that I think that really elevate the show in terms of improv.
Gbemi has a lean mean. She's always kind of leaning back and observing. Like it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I got to wrap already, but thank you all so much.
Get out of here,
Ash. New staple. Thank you.
What's it short for?
Ashley Ann.
Ooh,
Not an improviser. Don't put me on the show.
Goodbye to you and your pillows.